Does the proposal to allow gay marriages undermine the institution of marriage as a whole?
This is a hornet's nest that's been stirred up because the government is starting a consultation on how to implement equal civil marriage, and Cardinal O'Brien in Scotland laid into them as a grotesque subversion of a universally accepted human right, and said it would shame the United Kingdom. Will Young.
I'm gay. I'm up first. That man's mad. I think he's mad, that man. I mean, to begin with, as a gay man, gay marriage was not the top of my agenda for gay rights. What was actually the negative use of gay in schools, which was mentioned last week, so I won't go on about it. But since I've heard these disgusting, repellent, archaic words from various people, particularly that awful man from Scotland, I've got kind of more and more riled about it. I mean, this man said that it would be grotesque, gay marriage. He also likened it to slavery. He's also talking, incidentally, from an institution that is hardly being heralded as the paragon of moral virtue for the last 2 years. If this guy had been saying it, been talking like this against race or against religion, he'd be in court now. But he's still allowed to go on the Today programme, and then I read articles in the papers where people sort of say, well, he did go a little bit over the top because he said grotesque, and he did liken gay marriage to slavery, but you know, maybe he still has a point. So he's crazy, so he's out the picture. I didn't realise that the Institute of Marriage was purely for heterosexual couples. I mean, most people that I know, straight and gay, use the term gay marriage. Where I've come to on this is when I get married, if and when I get married, I want now to have it legal, that I can say I'm having a gay marriage. And I think it is important. And I think that there is a latent, sleepy homophobia that runs underneath this rhetoric that's been going on over the last 2 weeks. You know, well, they've been given civil partnership, but they shouldn't really have marriage. You know, come out, call a spade, say you still don't agree with it, because all this sort of pussyfooting around isn't getting to the true issue, that there is still a long way to go in gay rights. We've come so far in this country, and I think that having gay marriage legalised is another huge step on the way.
When civil partnerships were brought in 2004, since that time, 20,000 gay couples have got civil partnerships. They don't seem to be rushing to the altar, in my view. My concern is that the state should not be involved in this argument whatsoever. It is no business of the state. The state and the church is separate. Now let me declare a non-interest here. I have no faith. I have no religion. I got married twice, both times in a registry office. I've never had my children christened, so I don't hold a torch for any faith whatsoever. But what worries me here is that
So who recognised your marriages then? The state?
Well, I just had a civil partnership. You can call it a civil partnership.
But I mean, you just made a statement that's factually incorrect. You say you're concerned about the state not being involved. It's the state that sanctions marriage. The church does it effectively under licence. And anyway, in this country, the church is part of the state. I don't know if you've noticed.
No, it should be the complete separation.
Your much loved monarch, I believe, is defender of the faith and head of the Anglican Church.
Although she did say the other day she was a defender of faiths.
No, that's Prince Charles.
No, she did say that, actually.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, the other day. What worries me here is that in this country we also have something called a hate crime. So if this goes through, then you've got what happens to those imams, the priests, and the vicars who have their views, and I agree, some of those views are abhorrent, but I'm no torchholder for faith. And if they turn around and say, no, this is wrong, this is abhorrent, and they use some of that language, and I don't agree with that language, then they can be called into account. They can be called into a police station. And I think...
Yes, rightfully so.
Do you?
Yes.
No, we're walking into a police state. We're walking into a police state if we go down that road.
People used to use the same institution to say that women were second-class citizens, that women couldn't have the vote.
You're not second-class citizens, absolutely not.
I know that.
All my gay friends say we've got civil partnerships. We don't need a marriage. A marriage is a union between a man and a woman.
Why should a marriage purely be
because it's been laid down by centuries. It's tradition.
Okay, let's look.
And
I
some
know,
of these religions...
I read that in your article, which some of it I agreed with. It's very rude of me to point. Sorry. I
don't think we're that far apart, Will.
Let's look at this institution, marriage, because marriage has allowed the woman to be subservient, if we're going centuries back, rape to happen in marriage, abuse...
I think we've moved on quite a bit from that.
Yes, we have, and we need to move on, and we need to continue to move on. Marriage is about the union between two people.
Eric Pickles.
Yes,
Eric Pickles, what is your view on this?
Well, I have to say I've rather changed my mind on this in recent years. I think I'm rather in favour of gay marriages, and I have to say that what I've just heard has rather made me glad I have changed my mind. I've seen people in civic partnerships, and the difference between a friend of mine who are gay have now entered into this. It's given them a degree of stability, certainty about the future, and I think if people want to make a commitment to one another, to agree to support one another, to look after one another in sickness and in health, then I think the state should provide that facility.
What do you see the difference between a civil partnership and a gay marriage being?
I don't think there is, in practice, any difference. There's no difference in law. All the various rights that would accrue from a marriage would also accrue in a civil partnership. But I'm just a very blunt sort of a chap. I can't see the point of going through this pretense of thinking that civil partnership is anything other than a marriage. We should take it. Now, as for the church, we're not forcing the church. I want to make that actually clear. If the Catholic Church does not want to marry people in their churches that are homosexuals, we're not going to force them. We're not going to force the Methodists. We're not going to force the Church of England. But Will is right. The state licenses marriages, and I think as part of a civilised society, as part of a normal, respectful to our population, for those who are gay, we should provide that service.